up, everyone? Man, we got something different today. I mean, straight out of the north. I mean, this is where this came from, the north, right? And I gotta be honest, I don't even like admitting stuff like this. I didn't even know what the heck it was at first. Like, I had kind of heard about it, but I didn't have one. And I went and finally got one. When we had to go to Champlain on the FLW tour. I didn't have one for St. Clair. No one really even talked about it. But for Champlain, they were like, hey, you gotta go get one. So I got one online, painted it black, and I used it. I really didn't use it that much. The reason I didn't use it much was because I was kind of on them really, really well on a swim bait and sight fishing, but I was catching them really, really shallow, so I didn't really worry about it. I probably could have used one, but I didn't really know at what extent. I tried using one. It really wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and it seemed pretty difficult. I know some guys used them at Champlain, but it really wasn't going on up there the same way. And I'll explain all this. Here's the reason why I'm making this video. I'm gonna explain what this is, okay? So if any of y'all don't know, this is called a flogger, okay? And basically, all it is a thing of plexiglass. You know, you can see right through here, and that's where you put your head. And then right there's plexiglass. It's pretty simple. There's not much to it, right? What it is you stick that down in the water. So you would stick this part in the water and then basically look through it just like that. And it's just like putting on a pair of goggles and looking under the water, right? It's gonna only work in really, really clear situations. Usually works on bedding fish. Now, I didn't really think much about doing a video on it. I probably should have. And I always like to look at what kind of, not necessarily the trend is, but about what's going on. And right now, all these MLF guys are at the St. Lawerence River and they're using these things, right? And I didn't think much about it, no big deal. And I got on a buddy of mine's who's fishing the event, and I got on some other people's because I started getting really curious, right? The amount of people asking what the heck it is, I was like, okay, they don't really know what it is, and so they're not paying attention to it. All these guys were talking about catching fish off beds and flogging and stuff like that, so there's just a lot of questions. So I was just gonna come on, do a video, explain a little bit about it, and give you all the truth about it, okay? Because a lot of times people don't tell you what I would call the truth about it. The truth is, it's good. It does serve a purpose. It does work that way. But it's not like when you look down there, you can see all around you. Like, you literally have to, like, it's almost seeing like a little bit of a cone down there, like way less than even like your transducer. So you kind of have to really look around, and it's not easy. And if it's blowing a little bit, if there's current, if there's all kinds of things, it keeps you off of what you're trying to look at. I'll tell you the other thing, it's not easy on your body either. You have to get down, look. If you're not right on top of it, you have to get up, move your trolling motor, get down again. Dude, you can do this like 100, 200, 300 times a day. I mean, we're talking about like doing a bunch of burpees in a day. Like, you're leaning on your chest, looking over. Your rods are always in the way. I mean, it's kind of a pain. I'll be honest with you, it's a pain. So it's not all it's cracked up to be. And I could see trying to catch 5 fish doing it. These guys having to go around and catching bunch, if they are, and I'll be honest, I haven't watched any of the live coverage. So I'm just kind of hearing about it, about what they're doing. I gotta admit, I don't really watch a lot of live coverage on a lot of places, just because I've got other things going on, and it just kind of depends on the lake, or, you know, what circuit's going there. There's a lot of different reasons. This is what got my mind really spiked. So I read all these comments, right? And everyone was talking about flogging and like what it is and all these things. Then comes the other stuff. And this is I haven't made a video on this. And I don't even know why I haven't made a video on it, because usually I let some of this stuff go because I can't handle it. I gotta be honest with you, I can't handle it. Like, you want to see me get like Hallman all enraged and out of whack, and you know what, I might I might get a hallman and talk to him about this. But they start talking about these bedding fish, okay? And here we go, right? Every time I hear something about bedding fish, it goes to the, like, shouldn't be catching fish off beds, and I mean, you're ruining the lake, you're killing the fish, the lake's never gonna have another fish in it because of you catching a fish off of a bed, right? I've heard it all. I've gotten into a lot of arguments over the deal. We used to get it so much, even where we live, because we won a lot of tournaments off bed fishing, like a bunch. Like, I consider myself fairly good at it. I'm sure if you've watched any of my videos, you see me bed fish. And here's the deal. Here's what I think about bedding fish. I think it absolutely has zero effect on a body of water. Zero. And here's why. I look in the water and see fish so much, and I see so many fish. Like, if I'm on a lake that's like they're bedding on a lot, I see hundreds of fish a day. I go catch 5 of them, maybe 6, maybe 7, 5 or 6, 7. I don't think I'm hurting a lake by catching 5 or 6, 7 fish a day off it. And here's what I'm gonna get at. All these guys that sit there and say, hey, you shouldn't pull these fish off of beds. I'm gonna let this secret out, man. This is like the biggest secret, okay? Here it goes. If you're fishing in the springtime, you're catching fish off beds. There it is. I said it, right? I said it. You're catching fish off beds too. You just don't see them, but you're catching fish all day long off beds. The difference is you're just catching more of them off beds than me. I mean, that's the sad truth, because I go around just looking for the 5 biggest ones, while you might be going, hey, I caught 30, and you just don't realize when you threw your little Cinco over there and it floated down right on top of a fish on a bed, she ate it. You didn't see it. It was still a bedding fish. And so it's insane to me the way people think. Like, people have some of these people that are complaining about things, and there's going to be people on these comments that complain, because they're not going to sit back just for a second. Like, just sit back, relax, and maybe listen to what I'm saying. Just think for yourself without trying to get on some bandwagon like you're going to save the world and save the earth by not catching a fish, okay? We've been doing this for years. We're not hurt. Nothing's changing. So just hear me out. They're on the St. Lawrence River, and they see these numbers and these big giants being caught, and people are freaking out because they're catching them off beds. The reason they're getting these numbers so big and all this stuff, because it's like the best smallmouth lake place in the country right now. It's that good. It's like on Rayburn. We live on Rayburn. We have more tournaments on Rayburn than anywhere else in the country, okay? It's not even close, guys. Like, they've done the math on this. We used to have 300 tournaments a year, and you're like, well, wait a minute, there's only 52 weeks a year. Yeah, that's how many multiple tournaments are going on every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, plus Thursday nighters and Sunday nighters, and you name it. 300 tournaments a year is what Rayburn averages. That is a lot of fish being caught, weighed in, let go, plus the other people that are catching fish nonstop, plus the other guys that are catching them and keeping them, right? Rayburn's shelling them out left and right, nonstop. We never stop shelling them out. Just every tournament, everyone's catching them. Guys are catching them all through the week. Guys right now are out there, the lake's 10 foot high, guys are out there catching them freaking 100 a day. It's good. It can withstand all that pressure, and here's why. A fish lays more than 2 eggs, guys. It lays a lot more than 2 eggs. So yes, maybe 5 fish over here get caught and 25 over here, and then 1 fish goes and lays, a couple 100,000 eggs, right? Not all of them live, right? And certain beds get picked off, and but 1 fish could there's about 10 fish in that lake. If every one of those eggs survived, it would supply the entire lake. It's inconceivable about how many fish are actually being, that are being born. I say all this because we're constantly catching fish down here. We don't have an off period, guys. This is point 2. We don't have a winter. Okay, now we have a winter. We don't have no St. Lawrence kind of river. We don't have a Champlain, Mille Lacs, you know, Lake Michigan winter. We don't have ice covering our entire lakes. We go fishing when it's January. We go fishing 365 days a year down here, and we're crushing on them, and our lake's just fine. Like it's better than ever. Y'all actually have months where no one gets on y'all's lakes. No one messes with them. Like, y'all don't have any pressure. And all of a sudden, y'all want guys not to even fish when it's the springtime, when they're on beds. Shoot, y'all just had 5-6 months of it iced over. I don't even know. I'm just making that number up. It might be more. I don't even know how long that ice stays on y'all's lakes. Y'all just have half the year taken up with ice. Y'all finally get the ice off, and you got some guys out there, I guess, that like to fish, that are telling you not to go fish in the springtime because you might catch one off of a bed. Blows my mind. I don't care if I offend a lot of people. It is amazing to me the way people think. And I'm like, and they're fishermen. It's not like it's some guy from somewhere that wants to protect the fish. He just wants to protect it so he can catch them. Well, I mean, you gotta start thinking for yourself, guy. I mean, you gotta stop listening to, like, you know, some save the earth type deal. Like, it's fine. I promise you. You were allowed a certain number of fish to keep. I don't keep any. I'm just saying there's a reason we're allowed to keep them, and it's because the lake can handle it. It can handle probably thousands of fish a year being taken out of there. It's not going to hurt anything, guys. It's not. Now, I don't recommend it, but you got to realize in this tournament, these guys are catching these fish and releasing them, and they're still getting hated on. Like, they're still getting hated on for catching a fish off a bed and then releasing it. And guys were like, well, he's catching it multiple times, and he's releasing it multiple times. It's fine. The fish will be fine. It hasn't probably laid eggs. If it does, there's 14 million of them more that aren't getting caught that are gonna lay eggs as well. Settle down, guys. I promise you it's gonna be okay. I promise, okay? It's just the fact that they went to a really, really good lake. And guess what happens when you go to a really, really good place like that? You catch a lot of fish. So, that's where it went into. I wasn't gonna make the video. It's just that I saw the flogging deal, and then I read these comments, and it got from flogging to catching them off beds to we're gonna kill these you know, rivers and lakes that we're on. I'm like, no, it'll be okay. Flogging around here, will it work? I honestly haven't really tried it. I don't think I'm going to. I could see it working in some places. I'm not saying I won't ever do it. I kind of forget about it. I don't really pay attention to it much. You have to have really clear water. There's some places that have really clear water, and it's just something I got to be honest. If you look at mine, yeah, that right there is cobwebs. Okay, yeah, I got cobwebs on mine. Yeah, I'm not out there using it a bunch, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll get back out there, and maybe I'll actually do one when we get back down here in the springtime, and I'll find a place for it. I'll work on that, because I would like to show y'all. It is kind of neat. It is interesting. Look, anytime I can look in the water, whether it's sight fishing or whether it's doing this, or I've even looked at one of those underwater cameras. Man, it was really cool. They're not perfected yet. I think they're good, but they're pretty neat. I don't use them. I don't know about where this industry's going. Okay, I know there's some guys out there making some really, really wild remarks about banning all electronics and live scope and all this, and I'm never going to go that far. What I'll say is this, is I understand where they're going. I understand that it's getting harder and harder for the regular guy, okay, the regular fisherman. And listen, I was this guy for a long time. I don't get my electronics for free. I don't get all these things given to me. I never really have when it comes to electronics and stuff. So I understand it costs a lot of money, and it seems that you don't always need electronics. Let me say that. You don't always need electronics. You've seen a lot of my videos. Man, I don't even have my depth finders hardly turned on. I do a lot of stuff. I think you still can do a lot of fishing by visual, by looking at the lay of the land. When you're fishing like bushes and trees and grass and things, I still use what's right here in front of me, right? And my sunglasses, like, take my sunglasses away, I'll be in trouble. So I don't really know where we're going or how far it's going to let us go. I mean, are we gonna have underwater cameras on our depth finders one time where we're literally seeing a fish, like the actual fish, like scales on a fish? I kind of hope not. Honestly, I don't want to get too far away from the actual instincts of fishing. I will say that I like the actual instincts. So I do like lakes where the live scope and some of that doesn't come into play. I'm glad it doesn't always come into play, right? And so that will never change. We will always go to places where those become irrelevant. And I like that. You know, you go to shallow lakes, your side imaging and down, they become irrelevant. And I like those. I like sometimes where we have them, but I'm glad we don't always. So I don't know where we're going. I don't know what to think about the flogger. I don't know if they will ban it. I've never heard of them wanting to yet. I hear a lot of people wish they would. I could kind of go either way on it. I don't really have a dog in the fight because I don't use it that much. Listen, I'll be honest with you. If they banned the Alabama, I would choose the Alabama rig being banned 1,000,000 times over than this flogger thing. That's just my opinion. I'm not a big fan. I don't think I've ever done a video on that. I'm not a fan of the Alabama rig at all, and that's a whole nother story. And I might do that one on that one. I don't know if they're gonna ban this thing. So we'll kind of wait and see. We'll see. Let me tell you something. It kind of depends on feedback and states, and they're gonna have to come up with something other than, hey, I don't like it. I can promise you that. So we'll kind of see where that heads. But for now, this thing is still in use. And every once in a while, one of these big tournaments goes somewhere where something like this is the deal. Like, it's going to be used, and then it's going to create all this controversy, or I guess controversy or questions and whatever. And then all of a sudden, the next tournament they go to, no one will be using it. You won't hear about it for 2 or 3 years, and it just kind of fades away. I think that's probably what's going to happen with this until the next time. Anyways, that's my video. I wanted to share with y'all my thoughts on it and what I think about it, kind of like the little misconceptions, and then how in the world on social media it goes from flogging to you're killing the lake. Listen, I get it, and there's going to be some people on here that cannot wait. They cannot wait to throw their comment on there and tell me these bad stories or whatever it might be. Listen, I don't care. I don't care about your stories or this or that. Listen, I've seen lakes. I've seen the most pressured lake in the country, Rayburn, just absolutely get just slaughtered by people. And then next weekend it's fine. Like that lake's fine. It's got tons of fish in it. Now, the difference, I will say this. Guys from MLF going there, catching fish and releasing them it has zero impact. I will say, and man, I hate to pick on y'all. You know I'll pick on the guys from Louisiana about how they eat fish, right? I've said it. There's guys from Louisiana that don't like it. Most of the guys I know from Louisiana don't even like it. That they're known for that, right? And that's probably why we have a lot better fisheries in Texas than we do in Louisiana. I say that's a bigger deal. And I will say, I'm sorry guys, it's not all of y'all. It's not all of y'all. But I mean, we hate it when our lakes get featured on Bassmaster magazine when they're #1, because all of a sudden these campers and these trucks and these places come, and we look at the license plates, and they're all from up there. They're all from the north, and they come down here, and man, I never see fish being cleaned at any of our lakes ever, like ever. And all of a sudden you get to one of these lakes that gets #1, and all of a sudden these freaking, they are down here just crushing and keeping every single fish. Most of the time it can handle it a little bit, but man, I saw them wreck Rayburn. I saw them wreck Toledo Bend, but the worst I ever saw was Amstead. I saw them I saw where it was so piled up on the fish cleaning places at Amstead of 4 to 8 pounders. You couldn't even see the bottom. It was just mounds of giant big old bass. And if you're gonna knock something, I would knock that, right? I would knock that way over a guy catching a fish and releasing it within 30 seconds. It's just my thought. I mean, catching it and now releasing it 30 seconds later, and we're gonna make a beef out of that, man, I'm just gonna let y'all know that if that's what it is coming to, man, I better find me another sport to start doing, because we're in trouble. I mean, you're gonna make it so hard. You keep complaining like that, we won't have anything to fish, right? I mean, you just get it, take all the fun out of it. I mean, listen, this world can only handle so many Karens. I'm just telling you. After a while, I mean, we're gonna be outnumbered by Karens, and man, we're gonna be playing badminton and stuff. You know, like, really? That's what we're gonna do? I don't know if I'm young enough to take up badminton anymore, man. Maybe. Badminton. Better start practicing. I'm gonna start practicing right now.